Okay guys, so in this video, I'm going to show you how we can use n8n workflow to just take a picture and send it to your Telegram, and it will log in the receipt, which is the store name, the item that you bought, and the price that you pay, and it will log into your Google Sheet as well. So now let's go over to the computer screen. Or first, let me show you the demo that we did. So this is the Loblaw receipt. Okay, we just send a picture in, and it will output the detail. And here is the output in the Google Sheet. You see that? Loblaw, 2 items, milk and whipping cream, debit, and it's $15.12. Okay, so here is the n8n dashboard. If you haven't used n8n before, I'm just going to share with you like overview of what's the UI is about. So on the left side is where the overview is, and the personal. So this is where it stores all of the workflow, and chat. This is where you can chat with n8n using the model that you have API connected to. Okay. We can talk about the chat after, but here as you can see all the workflow that I have done in the past. Some of them are published, some of them are still in testing mode. And here's the credentials that I have with all the APIs, vendors, right? Telegram, WordPress, Potato, Apify, ChatGPT, OpenAI API, Gemini API, Anthropic. And here's all the execution that has been ran. So you see that there's some success, there's some errors, and yeah, so this is the overview. Okay, now we'll go over the personal. So personal, I organize it in folders so that I can keep things organized. There's testing folders, learning folders, live workflow. This is just how I organize my workflow. So this workflow, it's in testing mode because we're just testing right now. And the name is Telegram Receipt Logger. Okay, and I just make a note here that it works. Okay, let's go into the workflow now. So as you can see, this workflow, it triggers from the upload of the image on your Telegram. So like when you take a picture, so I'm taking a picture now, okay? So I'm take a picture like that, boom, like that, and then just press send, like that, and then wait for a few minutes, a few seconds, it will the results. You see that? So if we go over to the computer screen, it logs another line. Okay, and we can see the executions of that workflow as well. So if you look at the execution tab, you can see how it ran. You see how it ran 12:18 p.m. You can see that it triggers, right? And then it gets the file. So basically, the second node of the Telegram is to download the file that you upload, and then it feeds into this OpenAI node to analyze the image, because this image needs to be analyzed by the AI to extract the information. Okay, and then because of the output of the analysis of the AI, it has a bunch of words that we don't need. This is where the next node does, right? This is where the code node, its objective is to remove those words that we don't need and to categorize it in ways that we want, which is the data structure that we want. Basically, goal of any AI automation is to take unstructured data like an image or a voice, like basically a voice is like an analog signal, and it digitize it and transform it to structured data, which is in spreadsheet. Structured data meaning like store name is equal to store name, descriptions, kind of like that. So this is what this code does, okay? Basically, it takes the extract or the output of the OpenAI node and structure it, and then append it to the Google Sheet. So you can see that in this Google Sheet node, I map it to the column in this spreadsheet. Store name, description, image URL, payment, and total. Of course, as we kind of make progress on this workflow, we can add, purchase date, cart type, cart number, anything that you want to make your accounting better, right? Faster. So this is just like the MVP. Enough to kind of like test the use case. Okay, so now after we upload it to the Google Sheet, we want workflow to output it back to us as well in Telegram. So that's where the response comes in, right? So when we upload the picture, we want them to respond in this format. So that's where this AI agent node comes in, and it uses the OpenAI chat model, and I think it uses 4.0 mini. Basically, it's minimum. We don't need a 5.0 or anything. And as you can see, it has a prompt in here. It does not need a custom instruction. A user prompt is fine. And if you look at the user prompt, you can see here, your job is to generate a short, clear invoice summary using the extracted field. So extracted field is the field from the previous, which is from the code node. Always include emojis, readability, always include the invoice image link. Output should be plain text, not JSON. So that's the prompt. required field, store name, description of item, payment method, total amount. We feed them like sample data so that it is trained to output the same data, right? And here's the actual data. So this is where the actual details. So this is where we map the output from the previous one. So you can see that total is total here, payment here, description here, store name here. The same output format or output layout as this. That's where we kind of like set the output. And then once the AI output it out, we'll just tell the Telegram to send it back to the user. So with the chat ID, so you gotta know your chat ID, and then here's the output. You just take the output. Okay, so that is how this workflow works. If you have any question, let me know.